Hi scholars, welcome to lesson 2 of our Kings and Queens unit. So we know the next few lessons we're going to learn about royal families and kings and queens and how they lived a long time ago versus how us and our families live today. So to help us with that, I created this little chart. One side will describe our families and how we live today, and on this side we're going to fill in how royal families lived a long time ago. So just thinking about where we live in a major city. We have lots of buildings and skyscrapers. We also live in houses or apartments. We may live with our parents. We may have brothers and sisters or live with grandparents. Some of the things we do on a daily basis is going to school, spending time with our families, and doing chores. So as we keep getting into different lessons and learning more, on this side, I'm going to fill in things we learned about the royal family. So let's begin. Most kings and queens wanted to make sure they had lots of children, and they made sure those children understand what it meant to be part of a royal family. Being prince or princess had both advantages and disadvantages. This picture shows King George V of England, the Queen, and their 4 sons. As you can see, children in the royal family got to wear fancy clothes. They lived with their parents in a palace, which gave them plenty of space to run and play. Fine furniture and other beautiful things always surrounded them. For many kings and queens, having children was not just a matter of wanting to raise a family. In fact, children were the key to the future prosperity or success of the kingdom. But why were children so important? Once a person became king, he usually remained king for the rest of his life. The period of time during which he ruled was called the king's reign. And when the king died, the reign ended, and one of the children from the royal family became the new ruler. When you inherit something, it means that someone else, usually a relative, gives you something that once belonged to them. Often when a person dies, their property, the things they own, including their belongings and money, are passed on to family members, who then inherit these things. This is what happened in kingdoms when the ruling king or queen died. Their power, the right to sit on the throne and wear a crown, was passed on to someone else in the family. Royal families always wanted children, so the power to rule the kingdom stayed within their family. If there were no children, then sometimes the power to rule the kingdom went to a different family. Someone who inherits something is called an heir. In a kingdom, princes and princesses were heirs to the throne because they were to inherit the throne. The oldest son, the one most likely to be heir to the throne, is called the crown prince. He is called the crown prince because he is the next person to wear the king's crown and rule the kingdom. If there is no son, the oldest daughter is called the crown princess because she will be the next person to wear the crown and rule the kingdom. Remember that the crown is a symbol of power, and whoever wears it is in charge. This photograph shows King George V of England, the Queen, and their 4 sons. The oldest of the sons is the crown prince because he will be next king. The adults treat him with great respect, even though he is only a teenager. People hold doors for him and bow to him because he has the important status of being the next king. He has grown up having people serve him and tell him that he is very important. This is a picture of a palace in the country called Morocco. Inside this big, beautiful palace lives a crown prince named Moulay Hassan. He lives with his father, mother, and little sister. His father is the king of Morocco. Moulay was born in 2003 and is the oldest son of the king. Moulay will be the next king of Morocco because he is the oldest son and the crown prince of Morocco. The crown prince or princess is a very important member of the royal family, and he or she receives special education and extra special care in order to someday rule the kingdom. But what happens to the other princes and princesses who were not the oldest and heirs to the throne? Kings and queens often arranged marriages for their children. This meant that princes and princesses usually did not get to choose whom they had to marry. Their parents decided that for them. This was because the marriage was used as a way to form a partnership between two kingdoms, or a way for two kingdoms to rule together as a team. When a prince or princess married someone from another kingdom, as in the picture of a wedding between a princess from England and a prince from Germany, it was an important event. All the most important people for those two kingdoms were invited because it meant that those two kingdoms were going to be friends in the future. There were definitely advantages to being a member of the royal family, especially for those who liked living in places and wearing nice clothes. But being a prince or princess wasn't all fun and games. Some disadvantages include that you didn't always get to do whatever they wanted, especially when it came to whom they would marry. Often anything they did was watched and commented on by others. Everything they did reflected on the kingdom and the royal family, and they had to be careful to behave in a royal manner at all times. So, friends, our comprehension questions at the end of our story. In a royal family, what is the mom called? What is the daughter called? What is the son called? What is a crown prince or an heir to the throne? What are some advantages to being in a royal family? What are some disadvantages? And remember, you can upload your questions and answers to your Class Dojo profile or on Remind.